Excellent. Alrighty. So today we're going to talk about kind of further dynamics of that crab walk toward the underhook side escape. Specifically, the fact that the bottom or the person who had your back is almost always going to try to step over the mat. Kind of how to address it. So there are two primary conditions that we have to sort of respect. One is they step over to the mount with a light foot, which is the kind of easier to address. And two is they step over to the mount and create a heavy foot. So meaning that if, actually let me get your back, okay? So if I have Mike's back, and we're here, let's just say, just to make it simple, I'll get the underhook, you start going to the underhook side, right? Boom, I'll say blah, you get off, let's just say really fast, just get to the spot where you're trying to escape, right? So once I get here, escaping with a light, or taking them out with a light foot means that I step over and kind of launch myself to the mount. This is the easier of the two things to address because this leg is going to be really light. The more challenging of the two to address is going to be if, let's scoot a little bit to the left. Cool, perfect. Is if when I step and plant, apparently kick Mike right in the belly. Just kick him right in the tongue. But if I step and I plant, so now my weight goes to this foot as I transition. Okay? Our solution to that is pretty simple, but we should move forward. We're like tiny little ants. Hello world. Hi. So we'll talk about both of those scenarios though. So let's say Mike, you have my back. Okay. So sometimes a little bit this way. Perfect. And say I have the underhook on this side, please. So good. Switch. Thanks. Right. So I do everything right. Boom. I start to go. Let's just say you retract this arm just to make it easy. Right. And I go. So now pretty sure one second. So the first thing is we have to be aware that this is just a thing that might happen. Right. So as I'm here, I'm escaping. He steps his leg over my tongue, and I beat it between the legs. Good to go. We're in half guard. We'll talk about the transition to securing a decent half guard from here in a second. But sometimes it's as simple as I'm escaping. He steps over, and I got him. Okay? The only real nuance that's worth noting here, because sometimes this transition is going to come quickly, is that all I really need to get this leg, and really the fight that we're actually having on a sort of micro battle way, or in a micro battle way, is whose outside leg is going to get outside, right? Meaning that if his far leg, which would be his right leg, makes its way past my left leg, so let's say you step over and clear my left leg, he will win the fight. It's going to be hard for me to, once that happens, once he gets outside, it's going to be hard for me to get a half guard on that, whereas it's going to go back. If you go to step over, my foot stays on the outside, it's going to be hard for me to get a mount from that. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
So the battle here isn't as much as that I need to capture his whole leg, so say you're stepping real slow, capture his whole leg with my legs. The battle here is actually that I have to just, go ahead, parry his foot, and I can feed it in. This is really important because, again, sometimes this transition comes quickly. So say you have my back,
Yep.
here, Juniper, grab the center hook. Boom, as I go, boom, I'm going out, he starts getting ready to transition. It's like, keep going, keep going. It's like, I just need to get my foot on the outside. At this point, it's really not accessible for him to take the mount. There's some nuances of like technical mount and quarter guard that he can get to, but like in a more intermediate way, but generally speaking, at this point, I'm going to get my guard. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. From here, the transition needs to be that I need to be thinking about getting this far underhook, right? So as you start trying to get up on top, I'm hooking with the inside leg and stripping with the outside foot. Pummel this underhook and get to a standard underhook half position, right? So we'll do that all kind of in one sort of motion.
Yep.
So we go back and let's scoot a little bit to the right. With the underhook. Here, fighting hands, while I say blah, right? I make sure that I control that side, right? feet up, drive up, get my weight up. Begin my transition. Yeah, we're good. And as you retract that arm and you begin to step over, I just have to parry. Keep going. Good. Hooking with the inside foot, shrimping with the outside foot, and working for my foot. Do you want to see that real fast? Yeah. Shank, can I see? So I'm here. He has the back mount, right? Once again, I don't want, if say your head's right here, Chet, I have to beat that first. So I have to get my head on that side. Or at least not let him have it on that side. Feet walk in, drive in, shoot up. From here, perfect. So from here, big step, bump, bump. At this point, Chad, you're thinking you want to get this arm out behind you. And as he's stepping over, you just have to catch that. Yep. That's all I need. Yep. And then go ahead and like, imagine you were still continuing to take them out. So you see it's that inside foot hooking and that outside leg pivoting or planting and stripping. So it can kind of be both. It can either be plant and strip or whip and pivot. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Now, what if though, they do get that foot on the outside? Right? That's a question worth asking. So actually I'll keep you check. Right here. He has the back mount. Let's do it a little bit forward. Just get slowly into frame. Right? So I'm here, fighting the hands. Actually, yeah, we're good. Drive up. Right? Get his arm behind you. And he does, let's rotate this way. And he does get his foot over my head. Okay? Our next option, if it's still a light leg, is going to be to do a rotation, right? So I can't really gobble the half guard anymore. You see, it's not accessible. I guess if you're waiting super flexible, we can, but that's not what you do. So say, go back a step. So he steps over. I'm going to scoot my hip towards the foot and wedge this knee in between. Okay? We're going to sort of end up meeting in the middle as this happens. Because what will happen is, he's here, he starts stepping up. There you come, like get on top, and I'll end up in this sort of single leg exit. From here, simplistically, I can just extend him away, and get up, and get out. So if I have you? Yep. Let's see, let's actually turn this way, so that way when we start moving, we'll end up square. Okay. So I'm here. And as you step over, that gets on top. Go ahead and get all the way on top. And that knee wedges in. And I get here. And then let's say you don't fall over, is what I'll do is, Chad, I want to come over on this side to see, is when I get here, just without going into sweeps and single leg X and all this fancy stuff, is I'm just going to post on his shoulder and extend him toward that far side. They're going to hop and end up posting. Again, realistically, they're going to try to sit. Right? That all makes sense so far? Is that pretty straightforward? I'm going to show you guys the third thing. I'll show it all together to give you guys a lot of time to drill. The last, and maybe most important, because often these sort of escapes work really well until this next point. So we're here, let's turn this way. Everything's going good, right? Boom. Brad walking out of here. He steps over, but actually go back to your hip. But instead of stepping over with the light leg, plants the foot, right? Heavy foot. So go back real fast. So what I was doing is taking your leg and laying it like heavy across my belly. That's it. That's what happened, right? And now he's going to hop up. And what usually happens is instead of ending up under combat stance, because that's going to lead us more to like a technical mount escape, is as you go back to your hip, I want you to think about as you're here, driving this foot backward and driving this knee to the floor. Perfect. You feel that? Yeah. So now what happens is this leg gets really heavy. So now if we go back to your on your hip, Number one is obviously once it's here, I can't get to the half guard. Two, as long as his knee is driving to the mat, it's like I won't ever get the space to get that knee in, right? So when they lay here and this leg traps my stomach, I have to switch to a different approach. So this goes back to a very basic principle, and if you've been training under me for any duration, you may have probably heard, or it's likely you've heard me say the sentence before, which is that there is no such thing as half pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant, okay? You cannot be two opposite, or you cannot be two things at once in essence. So that's kind of the principle, right? So you're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. And in this case, you cannot be heavy in two places, really. He cannot be heavy on this leg and heavy on this leg, right? Meaning that when he steps over, let's say instead of doing this floppy thing, like you're doing the standard sort of go back, he does the standard step over light. His leg is light, so it's easy for me to move around. However, he lays that leg flat, boom, it's now heavy, I can't lift it. Well, Mike, if you put your weight in his foot and you start to shift over to the mount, right, this becomes light. You see what I'm saying? He's either going to be heavy here or he's going to be heavy here, but he's not going to be heavy in both. It's one thing if he's sitting on my belly and his weight is in his hips and his knees are accompanying that. But if, again, he's driving his knee to the floor, that means his weight's on it. That means this leg's going to be light. So let's do that. How should we do that? Actually, let's do it the opposite direction. So if you're here, start here. You guys are, camera's not going to see much until the end. We scoot back, right? Cool. You have the back mount, right? Boom. Shifting, blah. And then at this point, you step over and that gets heavy. So go back, get that right arm out from behind you. And then this steps over heavy, right? If this foot is heavy and I'm trying to address it and he drives that knee to the floor, then I go right to this leg. Pretty straightforward. Like let's say we go, reach out here. Yep. And really all it is we're going to break a couple of typical elbow escape rules. So let me get a visible point. Okay. So they're here. They step over, and as their weight's driving this leg, and a good thing to do also is like kind of address it. You see what I mean? Like, oh, I'm trying to shove that leg in. They drop that knee to the floor. Turn, shove through, kick, catch, and shove. So, Chad, over here. So set up one more time. We're here. Grab this under. Boom. Boom. We're here. Right? So now pull your right arm out from behind you. And what I want you to do, Chad, is lay this leg flat across the stomach. Perfect. And be heavy on it. Right? So now I can't really shove this leg through. So now what I want you to do, what your goal to be, is to take this knee and drive it down to the floor. So if he go ahead and drive that to the floor, this leg becomes very light, and I shove it in the half guard. It's just kind of hard to have two heavy legs.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like, think about it. If I'm moving, I'm here, that means that's going to sort of be floating. Does that all make sense, guys? I know it's like kind of a lot of little information, but again, they're pretty simple things. First option, they go step over, parry with the outside foot, lead to the gobble, gobble. Second, the foot goes to the outside, but it's still the light leg, so as they try to hop up, spin your single leg X. And finally, if they put the heavy foot, as they transition up and drive that knee to the floor, elbow escape on the back leg. Is there any try that? Yeah. Cool, let's work out. 1, 2, 3.